Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. For today's review, we're finally taking a look at the Street Fighter Zero, or Street Fighter 3 Zero Ken figure. This is the Japanese version, that's why it says Street Fighter 3 Zero. And then you see on the box there, you have a picture of Ken, has Zism, has a full level 3 bar. On the side, you see Ken, a picture of him again. And on the back, you see some poses you can get him into with the Street Fighter Zero 3 logo there. And then you see some more artwork of Ken at the very top. Then this says Japan only. And on the side, again, just Ken. So let's get this guy open and see everything he comes with and take a closer look. One more cool thing to note about the box is that in the back, you can see the background for Ken's stage, which is pretty cool. So I guess if you wanted to cut this box up, you could use this backdrop as like a stage to put the figure in front of. All right, and here's Ken out of the packaging. For me, honestly, this is my favorite version of Ken. Well, favorite look for Ken besides like Street Fighter 4. But yeah, I think Jada really nailed the way he looks in the game. I know it doesn't match the artwork 100% that's actually on the packaging. Like the eyebrows are a little kind of, I mean, they're not really flared out at the ends. I mean, just a little bit, but you know, it doesn't exactly match the artwork on the box. His eyes don't exactly match the artwork on the box, but it does look like him, you know, from the game. And I like Ken with the long hair and the tie in the back. That is textured, which is really cool. All the hair sculpting looks really nice. His entire gi is textured, and it has some shading on there. It's really hard to see, but that's not just shadows. That is actually shading on the gi, and then like on his pants. You can see there's even texture in the joints down here. And the bottom of his pants are ripped, and then you see his feet there. Toenails aren't painted or anything like that. Bottom of the feet, just plain. The hand guards are a little textured, but they are painted and sculpted nicely onto the hands, which are pretty soft and squishy. There's a lot of good sculpting on the muscles and shading on the muscles as well. And then, of course, you can take his gi off if you wanted to, so you just remove the belt piece here. You pull this up, and then you unwrap this, and then you can pull this apart to see the rest of the musculature underneath, which if you want to have a shirtless Ken, sure. This is not the way I'll display him on my shelf, just because he's never shirtless pretty much, at least like this. So keep that together and on him, and then just put him back together. It's kind of a hassle, but it is possible. Give me 1 second. All right, we're back. Now that he's back together, let's get into the articulation. So his head can look up about that much. He can look down about that much. His neck does move, so it's probably a double ball joint situation with the head and neck connection, so you can get him to do pretty much anything you want him to do. Have that attitude if you want. The arms, they go up this far. It's pretty good. He does have butterfly joints, and they come in about this far. Can kind of push them closer, but naturally this is as far as they're going to get. And then from the back, you can see the musculature is still there, which is cool. Looks good. He does have an upper arms bicep swivel here, but you can also rotate his arm up here at the actual connection where it goes into his chest. Then you do have double jointed elbows, which look pretty good. And then you do have the wrists that are on like this mushroom peg, like pressure fit. The hands are pretty soft, so they just go on real nice. And you can get all kind of movement out of that. And then for the torso, of course, he's going to get better movement if you take off the gi because there's not any plastic hindering it. But this chest piece is soft up top. So moving forward, even with the gi on, he goes forward about that much. Goes back about that much. For his legs, he can do the complete splits. No issue, no weird hanging bits anywhere. Very good. He can kick back all the way. It does kind of go out at an angle, but this is a rubber piece. The crotch piece is rubber, so it's not a problem. He can kick forward about that much. He does have an upper thigh swivel. double jointed knees, which the plastic here is actually lighter than the plastic that's on the rest of the pants. Probably just for structural integrity, they had to make the plastic lighter, I guess. There's no kind of other swivel in the pant besides up there at the thigh, and then at the leg underneath, there is a swivel here. I guess you can call it at like the, before you get to the ankle, and then the foot can go down that much, go up that much. You get an excellent ankle rocker, and you get toe articulation, which is awesome. I think any figure that needs to be in like some kind of martial arts type pose needs some toe articulation. So I'm glad they gave that to him. But yeah, I mean, even the little belt here on his gi moves back and forth. The hair down here doesn't have any kind of ball joint to, you know, allow you to kind of sway this back and forth, but moving the head, it'll move with the figure, so that's fine. It's a soft piece of plastic, so it's not gonna hinder anything or get in the way. But yeah, I think for articulation wise, this Ken is amazing. I mean, I know we thought Jada was like the pinnacle of articulation at this price point, but then Storm came through and kind of blew them out of the water aesthetic wise and articulation wise. But let's get into some of the accessories that he comes with. So for accessories, he does come with an alternate face, which is great. It's this smirking face, or cocky smirking face. Looks really good. You can actually see like the teeth that are sculpted in there. You can see its eyes are painted really nicely. The hair is still done really nicely. And this is a full head sculpt, so you don't have to remove the hair or the bangs or anything like that. You just plop this head right on. And then he comes with a pair of these like palm thrusting hands, which is pretty cool. Or I guess you can call these also Hadoken hands. Then he comes with one hand for his taunt, and they're all very soft. And then he comes with one hand for a peace sign, which is all very nicely sculpted and painted. And then for his final accessory, he comes with this Shoryuken, or like the flaming Shoryuken effect, which you just put on his fist. So whichever fist you want to put it on, it's molded for that. You just kind of slide it in there, and then if the hand doesn't actually fall off, let's see if we can do this. There we go. You can actually put it on there and it stays. It's like it's just a pressure fit, so looks good. Also keep in mind that these bands right here are loose pieces that are just on the arm, so be careful when you take the hands off, because these could slide off and just disappear into the carpet. But you can get the flame effect on there. I like the flame effect. I do think it's a little flat, so I kind of wish that, you know, it wasn't as flat. But yeah, that's about it for his accessories that he can actually use. The other accessories that he comes with is a stand. So you've got the circular stand here with a larger arm to hold the figure if you want to get him into like a higher up, you know, Shoryuken type pose. And then you also have this like metal clamp with these rubber edges if you want to use that instead. I don't actually know what the difference between using this versus the hard plastic is. I guess this one does have the rubber on it, so it's you know nicer to put around the figure if you don't rub off any paint or anything like that. But yeah, that's all that Ken comes with. I kind of wish he came with the Hadoken effect, you know, with the hands visible inside it, because that's what his do. I don't know if he no longer, you know, has the hands inside it in Alpha 3. I can't remember. But I at least know he throws Hadoken still, so kind of wish they would have included that. But I guess if you just buy 2 reused, then you can give him one of the Hadokens. But yeah, that's all for the accessories. And of course, the Hadoken is the one accessory that I wish he came with, but I think this is a good spread for the price you pay. Let's get into some size comparisons. All right, for our first size comparisons, here he is compared to the Jada Toys Evil Ken, or I guess Psycho Power Control Ken, and then the Jada Toys Chun-Li. Again, I think he scales really nicely with these guys. He's literally standing toe-to-toe with the Jada Toys Ken. I did not buy the normal Jada Toys Ken just because I did not like the way his face looked, but I did like the Evil Ken look. But yeah, you can see here, like, comparing the musculature, comparing how the hand wraps are, comparing how the gi sits on him. This one sits a little lower. This one is closed up a little higher on him. They have that same texture. Again, this one doesn't have the toe joints. This one does, and that's the same for even the regular version of Ken from Jada. Does not have toe joints, but you can definitely still put these together on your shelf. I think they'll look pretty good together. So maybe Jada will go back and do Street Fighter, or not Jada, sorry. Storm will go back and do Street Fighter 2 and give us an evil Ken in their line, which would be pretty sick. And then looking at him compared to Chun-Li, you could definitely use this Chun-Li if you want to, although this is like an older version of Chun-Li, not the alpha version. But if you wanted to put them on your shelf together, you totally could. And then for another quick Jada Toys Street Fighter comparison, let me bring out Blanka and DJ. So you can take a look at that. Here they are scaled up together. I know Blanka's a pretty big guy. And then hopefully Storm continues on with the alpha line and gives us the Blanka from that game, but we'll see what happens there. And then you see DJ here is way taller than this Ken, so I don't know if that's accurate or not, but if it is, that's great, and you can probably still mix and match and it'll look good. And then to compare it to some other figures, here we have the Storm Collectibles Skullomania from the EX line, Fighting Lair EX line. Again, he's smaller than other Storm Collectibles, or the normal Storm Collectibles, so you can kind of fudge it and kind of get him to, you know, be in line with these guys if you wanted to have this pairing up. And then I brought in Snake Eyes just because there's that one G.I. Joe crossover with Street Fighter comics. If you want to use this Ken for that specifically, you definitely could. Snake Eyes is a little taller, but I don't think that'll matter too much. I think they'll look good still. And then here we have Ken next to a SH Figure Arts Full Power Super Saiyan Son Goku, and then a Daima Vegeta. Again, Daima Vegeta he's so short, so small, so that might look a little weird, but I think him next to Goku kind of looks pretty cool. And again, Goku's going to be a little shorter. That's just how SH Figure Arts, like these type of figures are, but I still think you can get that to work. And then last but not least, here we have him next to some Marvel Legends figures, a Marvel Legends Animated Series Spider-Man, and a Marvel Legends Iron Man. I think he scales nicely with these guys. You can definitely do your Marvel vs. Capcom look, especially with the Maximum Spider-Man. And then if you wanted to pair him with like a Mafex figure, I have the Mafex Deadpool here because he is a little bigger, just to show what that scaling could look like if they all want to stand and not fall over. So yeah, so now you can see, like, if you wanted to blend your Mafex with the Street Fighter line from Storm, you could definitely do that as well, to kind of pay homage to the later Marvel vs. Capcom games where Deadpool is in it. But yeah, I think these guys look pretty cool, and the Storm line kind of blends in with most figures. So for final thoughts, I love this figure. I know Storm is known for not finishing their lines or like bouncing around and doing the same character like 90 times over when we want a new one, but I really hope they finish the entire Street Fighter Alpha 3 line, because that'll give us some really cool characters to work with. They just put up their promotional photo, or one promotional photo for Dan, so he should be going up for pre-order soon, and then we'll get Nash, and then we'll see what the next wave looks like. So yeah, super excited for this line. I mean, honestly, if Storm is going to go all in, then I might have to stop collecting Jada unless, you know, they do a character that Storm just really isn't doing. You know, like we still haven't gotten a Vega from Storm Collectibles, which is very interesting, but neither here nor there, I guess. But yeah, definitely like this guy. Definitely do think he's better than the Storm figures, so I'm really interested to see what Jada does to kind of bridge that gap and, you know, keep themselves in the ring, because I know they started their Alpha 3 line, but, you know, I mean, people already have these in hand, so what's the point of buying their versions of them unless they give them some crazy extra accessories or something like that. But yeah, let me know, guys, down in the comments below how you feel about these figures and what you think, Storm versus Jada, and what character would you like to see either company tackle next from the Street Fighter Alpha 3 series. Alright guys, as usual, thanks for watching, take care, and have a great rest of your day.